The 17th Abu Dhabi International Defense Exhibition, ADIE, was held in the capital of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, from 17 to the 21st of February 2025, attracting 1,560 exhibitors from 65 countries and a record number of 150,000 visitors. This event is not only a global wind vane of defense technology, but also because of the high-profile appearance of the Russian 5th-generation fighter Su-75, will kill and become the focus. The eye-catching 75 logo on the fuselage symbolizes the ambition of the Russian military industry to break the Western monopoly and capture the Middle East market with a light stealth fighter. Alexander Mikheyev, president of Russia's Defense Export Corporation, announced that the light stealth fighter, with a price tag of only $30 million to $35 million, will be exported to Middle Eastern countries as a priority, and promised to provide technical cooperation and local production support. This move not only means that Russia is trying to break the monopoly of the Western 5th-generation aircraft with the strategy of low price and high configuration, but also reflects that the global arms trade pattern is undergoing a profound reconstruction. From the technical parameters, the positioning of the Su-75 is full of contradictions and ambitions. As a derivative of the Su-57 technology, its stealth performance has always been shrouded in controversy. The Russians claim to have kept the radar reflection area below 0.5 square meters through its diamond-shaped wing design, S-shaped air intakes and composite wave-absorbing coatings, but Western experts have pointed out that the design of its externally mounted weapon pod still has hidden problems. However, the Mach 2 top speed and the super mobility brought by the Product 30 vector engine are really impressive, especially with the R-37M missiles with a range of more than 300 kilometers, which can form the advantage of first enemy to discover, first enemy to open fire in air combat. This kind of emphasis on high-speed sudden defense and long-range strike design, obviously for the Middle East region in the vast desert environment of homeland air defense needs. Price strategy has become a key lever for Russia to pry the market. Compared to the US F-35, nearly $80 million per unit price, Su-75 offer almost cut, and even lower than the French 4.5-generation Rafale fighter aircraft of $65 million. Behind this kind of pricing is Russia's precise grasp of the logic of the Middle East's military procurement. The UAE, Algeria, and other countries need to deal with the asymmetric threat of Iranian drone swarms and Yemen's Houthi forces, but also subject to financial pressures, difficult to large-scale procurement of Western high-end equipment. The Su-75's claimed multi-mission capability of tracking 6 targets simultaneously and carrying 7,400 kilograms of weapons fills this gap in the market. The promise of technology transfer is another lure. Mikheyev revealed at the show that the buying country could participate in the customization of the fighter's appearance and the development of subsystems, and even jointly establish a maintenance system. This model hits the pain points of the Eastern countries. The UAE has suspended the purchase of F-35 because the United States refused to open the source code of F-35, and Saudi Arabia suffers from the West's technological blockade of precision-guided munitions. Russia's joint development program not only gives the buyer a semblance of technological autonomy, but also helps Moscow to spread the cost of development. This strategy, already proven in India's Su-30 MKI program, is now being replicated in the more sensitive field of 5th-generation aircraft. However, the path to the Su-75's breakout is thorny. The authenticity of the stealth performance has yet to be verified, and the downing of the Su-35 in Ukraine in 2023 has eroded the market's confidence in Russian-made fighters. The production schedule is even more fatal weakness. The Russian side claimed that the first batch of production models will be delivered only in 2030, but by that time, the global delivery of F-35 is expected to exceed 2,500, and China's J-35 may also complete the first order in the Middle East. More seriously, Western sanctions have caused Russia's microelectronics industry to lag behind, and whether the Su-75 avionics system relies on Western chips obtained through secret channels has become a hidden worry in the minds of potential buyers. Russia's non-competitive relationship with China was particularly emphasized at the defense show. Su-75 propaganda film deliberately avoided talking about comparisons with the J-35, but instead highlights its differentiation from the Turkish TFX. South Korea KF-21 and other emerging 5th-generation aircraft positioning. Behind this subtle gesture is Moscow's sober recognition of the changes in Sino-Russian military trade relations. China's aviation industry has achieved leapfrog development from the J-10C to the J-20, and the technological aura of Russian-made equipment is fading. By positioning the Su-75 as a light and cheap 5th-generation aircraft, Russia not only avoids direct conflict with the J-35, but also tries to open up a new track outside the F-35 monopoly system. Middle East countries' strategic swing adds variables to this game. Although the United Arab Emirates in 2021 suspended F-35 procurement, but in 2024 with the United States signed the Abraham Agreement, supplemental provisions have been left for the restart of military procurement space. On the one hand, Saudi Arabia continues to receive the U.S. THAAD anti-missile system, and on the other hand, signed a memorandum of understanding on the procurement of Russian-made S-500. This, betting on both sides, strategy means that the Su-75 not only has to prove its performance advantages, but also needs to demonstrate its geopolitical value. As a symbol of freedom from Western technological control, it needs to be a catalyst for military autonomy in the Middle East, not just another piece of imported equipment gathering dust in the warehouse. It needs to be a catalyst for military autonomy in the Middle East, not just another imported piece of equipment gathering dust in a warehouse. Behind the technical parameters and price tags in this global battle for the 5th-generation aircraft is the ultimate battle between the industrial system and geopolitical influence. Russia is betting that the Su-75 can replicate the success of the Su-27 in opening up the Chinese market. But times have changed, and today's buyers demand more depth in technology transfer and stability in the supply chain. When Mikhail held up the model of the warplane in Abu Dhabi, he was not only selling the aircraft, but also a promise of a new order of arms trade in a multipolar world. Whether this promise can be fulfilled depends not only on whether the Kremlin can break through the Western blockade to complete mass production, but also tests Russia's wisdom in balancing technology sharing with national security. And the sound of future warplanes over the Middle East desert may be the prelude to the transfer of military-industrial hegemony in the 21st century.